First of all, people want to ensure the things that they love, and the listeners of this podcast definitely love their pets, right?
Hi, and welcome to Animalia, the podcast. We are back for season 2 in 2022. I'm Natasha, and thank you so much for tuning in. On this first episode of Animalia, I'm speaking with a young man who turned the loss of a close relative into a lucrative career for his family in an industry that is nowhere close to what he trained to do. But he's really here to tell us about a new kind of coverage for pets in Trinidad and Tobago, one that dog owners in particular will be very excited to learn more about. So please welcome to Animalia, Mr. Kean Moses. All right. Thank you very much, Kean, for agreeing to speak with us on Animalia. You are our first guest for 2022.
Thank you very much for having me.
Right. So let's start by telling the audience a little bit about yourself and your life growing up with animals.
All right, so I am a Guardian insurance agent. Do everything from general to commercial type insurance to life insurance, that kind of stuff. Um, Growing up with different pets, yeah, I mean, it is something that I think everybody should do because it will teach you how to take care of things, how to appreciate something that is dependent on you, and kind of basically make you a better person, in my opinion. Right? When I was growing up, I had dogs, mostly never had a cat. Fish, parrots,
How unfortunate. Yeah.
yeah, fish, birds, budgies. The budgies they escaped because one day we had them outside trying to clean up the area and stuff, and the the uh, the breeze blew and basically threw on the cage and they just flew away. I mean, we saw them around
Oh,
for a little while, and then I guess they went wherever they wanted to go. We got back
yeah.
new ones, and then a cat actually came, and yeah, yeah, and destroyed them in the cage. I don't know how it get it, but
Oh, oh.
it is. um,
Cats are very ingenious that way,
Unfortunately,
unfortunately.
yeah. But
Oh.
I mean, we also raise livestock, like I mean, rabbits. I wouldn't say it as a livestock, but we raise them
Hmm.
for the meat and that kind of stuff. We had a sheep at a point in time. We had chickens and ducks at a point in time as well. And those were just some of the things that we did. All of these things were mostly um, my dad's idea. He actually had a cat when he was younger, but it's
Mm.
just that. And I was the cat. The cat name was Cookie, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
And out of all of these animals, did you have any one that was special to you, or you had a particular fondness for?
Yes, yes. There was one called Saga Boy. He was a
Mm.
dog, Pompek. Um, and he grew older and that kind of stuff. And then I don't know, boy. The neighbors had pit bulls and stuff, right? And one of the pit
Mm.
bulls was a heap. And I guess he went across there, to fast self. Yeah, he was mauled
Yes.
by her brother. So yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that was a little traumatic.
oh wow. I can
Yeah,
imagine. And wow. And this is the kind of incident, strangely enough, um that will be covered under the new insurance policy that we're going to be talking
yes,
about.
yes.
But before we get to that, you recently joined the industry and it was almost by accident. Can you tell us about what led you to selling insurance?
All right. Okay. So this is the part of the podcast that's going to be a little bummer. I'm just warn
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. So I used to be a medical rep before, and my dad he ended up passing away in 2018 due to pancreatic cancer. Um, I would have found out about it in April of 2018, and by June of that same year, he went. That was it for him.
Mm,
I would have been the one to administer as much CPR as possible and doing everything to try to keep him alive because he died at home.
mm,
So I
right.
mean, he was around family, people he loved, that kind of stuff, but it was a real hard thing to actually see him take his last breath.
Yep.
With that, the company I was working at, they weren't too understanding of how my situation was because I am the eldest of five children. So I have three sisters and a brother. So I would have been having to drop them to school, picking them up. Some cases I would have to take them with me to other appointments or bring them back to the office. And that used to be a problem. It used to be a problem for me coming to work probably 5 to 10 minutes late. And after a while, even with all of this, they weren't even paying me on time. So helping mom with the bills, it was a little challenging. I really had to dig into savings and that kind of stuff, and that would have been after having to fork out almost like $100,000 behind my dad, trying to get him well as well. So it was a situation
Mm,
where I really had no choice but to leave that place and pursue other things because I did chemistry, analytical chem, process operations, that kind of stuff, right? And that's the industry I was looking to go in. So while looking for work in that sector, my current unit manager, he had invited me to be an agent. His name is Greg Matt. He was like, "Hey, why do come and be an agent with Guardian and that kind of stuff?" And I was like, "It's not something that I studied. It's not something that I ever wanted really and truly." And then he was like, "So
mm,
what are you doing now?" I was like, "Well, I'm unemployed." And he was like, "Well, come and do something then." And yeah, so because the type of person I am, I don't really like to be idle at all. So I said I took it as a learning opportunity to actually learn something new and see what can happen in
yeah.
that time. Now, during the um during the training process, he actually showed me where my dad had an annuity, and
Mm-hmm.
he helped me make sure that my mom got it. It is not it wasn't the best annuity, but it was something that could help pay bills and that kind of stuff. So it was something good, and I saw the value in it then, and I decided, this may be something I could do part time. And then, funny enough,
Mm,
when I actually started coming down to the end of my first month at Guardian, I found out that my dad had a life insurance, and I called the agent. Like, uh, well, actually, the first few times I'd call him, I didn't get on to him, and then people made me aware that he was actually doing this and another job as well. So yeah,
mm,
so me thinking that I could do it part time, you see, it's just like things are showing me certain things. So yeah,
yes, yes,
and
yes.
when I finally got onto him and I spoke to him, and he wasn't even aware that my dad passed. He answered the phone real jolly, and I told him, "Hey, Kean Moses." He was like, "Yeah, I know him." And I literally just dropped it on him. I was like, "Well, I know he died," and he got quiet on the phone, and he really didn't have much of an answer when I asked him certain questions, and it
Mm,
just turned out that he never delivered the policy or did a beneficiary form. So we had to go through the route of just waiting on the probate, which we still waiting on since 2018. So yeah, so we're still waiting on that. And in that time, the um waiting for the life insurance money to come through, which Guardian has honored. Is just we have to go through the parade. Um,
Mm.
I would have had to help fund one of my sister's tertiary education because she wants to be a pilot, and it was something that um, Dad and her used to talk about a lot. And
Mm.
he in his mind he knew that he made provisions for it. At the point in
Yes.
time, he didn't expect that. So all his savings and everything we had to wait on. So money was there. It's just we couldn't have access to it. We still don't have access to it. So my entire role in this whole thing was just to work and do the job as it should be done and do it as much as possible, as well as possible, and help my family
Yep.
through that time. Thankfully, she is done and is fully licensed commercial pilot. It's just for her to get a job and
Excellent.
kind of yeah. So I'm glad about that and what the career has done for me and my family.
That is excellent, and
So
it's actually a bit ironic that the how the insurance agent laughs with your dad has, that
mhm.
sometimes dissuades people from the industry. Some people say it's a scam and all these kind of things, but I guess you are,
Yeah.
having entered the industry after that experience. It's an opportunity for you to do better.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw it. It like literally when I was leaving his office with my dad's policy, it dawned on me that yeah, you want to go and start a next job and do this at the same time. It's the same
Mm.
time the guy was doing, and I was like, what, maybe the universe just decided to show me all of this and tell me, what, this is where you needed, and this is the kind of service you should provide to people. And then the pandemic hit, so and
Mm.
that's the kind of stuff that people actually needed. So you know,
Yes.
yeah.
Fate stepped in for you. So tell us about this pet guard policy, and why do you think it was developed?
Okay, well, I mean, first of all, people want to ensure the things that they love, and the listeners of this podcast definitely love their pets, right?
Yes.
Um, so, clearly we starting with the most common, the most expensive animal to take care of, which is dogs, right?
Mm.
So that's where the data had led Guardian to. I would
Mm.
be concerned, right? So we're starting with the dogs first, and then of course we will expand it to other pets and make sure everybody's included. The point of the whole thing is to make sure that the unexpected is covered for, right? So if people have to go and do a emergency surgery that might cost them $3,000 to $4,000, we could at least pay their vets up to well the full coverage is from $6,000 to $9,000. So you have that coverage there depending on what the situation is, right? So if it's just surgery alone you need covered, it is up to 2,500, I believe. Um,
Mm.
you know, but things like the regular stuff is not really covered as yet. But we would be building out the policy to do all of that, right? So it is more of a introductory product as it is right now.
Yes, and as you say, introductory, I mean, and you said there's certain things that you don't cover. So
Mhm.
routine vet visits for vaccinations and stuff like that would not be included. This is for sort of emergency and out of the ordinary expenses.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And can you then visit any vet of your choosing, or do you
Yes,
have a specific? Yeah.
any particular vet, anyone, you come, they bring a bill, and we would we'd be able to cover it. So it's more of a reimbursement type of thing until it is we actually build a network of vets
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of stuff. Because if I don't know, way, if people would remember how health insurance would have been,
Yeah.
you go in. well, human health insurance, as I say. You
Yes.
go, you go by a doctor, and then you bring the bill back to the insurer, and then they cover it like that.
Yep.
So, and as things progress, we would have built a network of doctors, and then we have preferred providers where you could go on now and swipe a card or scan a QR code, and you just pay a difference and you walk out. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And I
So,
think definitely there will be scope for a, a list of preferred providers because
mhm.
having spoken to some vets and members of the veterinary association, there are a lot of quacks out there. People who offer
For sure.
veterinary services, but they aren't
Yeah,
trained veterinarians. So I guess
yeah.
people should
Or they
be.
actually don't care about the pets, really and
Exactly,
truly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So people should be aware of the vets that they take their pets to in any event. But I suppose
Hmm.
as time goes on, there will be a list of preferred veterinary providers. And so Guardian General will pay the vet directly, or does it pay the client?
Okay, so they could pay the client or they could pay vet. It's just, once it is the vet provides like their banking information, they'll
Mm-hmm.
do like a ACH transaction to the vet.
Okay, that sounds good. Convenient. Because sometimes I think a lot of vets do pro bono stuff. They know
They
that the
do.
client doesn't have to pay, so they take the payment on installments. I have done that with my cats and my
Hmm.
vet because you know there are
Yeah.
times when these emergencies come up. You never
Hmm.
know, and
Yeah.
you often don't have that cover, as we say.
Yeah. And as is
Um,
as they say that they do a lot of pro bono stuff, most of the times they're only motivated because they don't want to have to euthanize the animal. So yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, yes. And I mean, they have themselves, vets are a special bunch. I mean, a lot of them really do um, put in a lot of work and time and effort to make animals well. And in dealing with that, they sometimes have to clash with owners who don't have the same mindset. So I think a policy like this or this kind of insurance would give, I think, pet owners more responsibility, so to speak,
Hmm.
in terms of how they interact with vets. Because I've had quite a few conversations with vets who really, um,
Hmm.
they had it off with the owners because the outcomes that they were expecting for the animal don't often match up. But
Yeah.
so what about things like pre-existing conditions? In humans, we know that there are certain pre-existing conditions that aren't covered for life insurance and health insurance and those kind of things. Does the same apply with this
Hmm.
policy?
Yeah, it would apply for now, because we don't want to have to deal. Well, insurers in general wouldn't want to have to deal with something that was there before, and then you have to take up the cost of it one time.
Mm. As well, something like this, insurance policy like this, will encourage pet owners, I think, to seek veterinary assistance for their animals, and not rely on Facebook and other hope-based remedies
Hmm.
for their animals.
No, I think it would actually encourage pet owners to actually care about the pets a
Yes.
little more too, because if it is you have to take a dog to the vet every, let's say, 6 months for the teeth. Why don't at least do it for yourself a little more and actually go to the vet when they need some kind of actual
Yep.
emergency or something. Things that could be prevented, you prevent. You make sure that you prevent it by yourself.
Exactly. And hopefully build a better relationship
Yeah.
with pet owners and vets. Um, what
Hmm.
about? I mean, I have interviewed a few pet groomers. Is grooming considered
Hmm.
cosmetic? Because a lot of the grooming that takes place is actually very good in terms of not just keeping your dogs, clean and well groomed, clipping their nails and cleaning their ears and stuff like that, but it can also
Mm.
help to identify health conditions in animals.
Correct,
So
correct.
is grooming,
Mhm.
you think, do you foresee that that could be a service that could be covered under this policy?
Okay, so like with our health plans, you would get like a free checkup every year and that
Mm,
kind of stuff. So I could see them including something like that for for pets, you know. But as it is right now, they say in terms of cosmetic procedures, they're not covering any of
hmm,
that at all.
not yet. We look forward to the
Right?
future when where that is concerned. Now, I was looking through some of
For sure.
the information you sent, and it includes reimbursement if your dog is lost or stolen, and
Right?
that is a concern to me. Obviously, not to Guardian General, but to me
Mm,
because we have such a big problem with adoption, and we have a
mm,
breeding industry in Trinidad and Tobago which is completely unregulated. So this may further
mm,
encourage the breeding and sale of animals. I don't know
mm.
what your personal views on it are, but why do you think um, that it was important to include um, such an option, um, a deductible for for dogs that are purchased?
Well, like you say, I mean that's one of the main concerns, I guess, of the owners. So, people. I mean, within the last year, I remember going on Twitter and seeing people, saying that the dog was lost, and I mean, a few of them got back the dogs, thankfully, and some people just never got back their puppies or anything like that. So, you know, stolen dogs is a
Yes.
thing. Yeah, the person would have purchased it. In terms of the my feelings towards the breeding industry. I mean, people see opportunity where they have
Hmm.
opportunity. So that's just them trying to, I guess, run their business. So it would call more on whatever relevant authorities to kind of
Yeah.
regulate those things. Because I was actually talking to somebody this morning about people wanting puppies and not
Mm-hmm.
dogs. Yeah, because they would buy the puppy, but then they forget that the dog would actually have to grow up
Exactly.
and you have to take care of it a certain way.
Exactly.
So,
And there are so many hundreds of dogs, beautiful cotongs, no pedigree to their name
hmm
that, just deserve a
hmm
loving home. So that is just my plug and Animalia's plug for our adopt don't shop mantra. But I guess, for those out there, and I know quite a few people personally who have, purchased animals, but I guess it is an investment that if
hmm
lost, you would want to recover, I guess.
yeah, hmm
Um, I know that the policy does cover sudden and accidental death, and
right.
there has been a major, well, a national discussion recently about the impact of fireworks on pets. Do you think that any owner whose dog succumbs to whatever ailment as a result of fireworks, you think that could be covered under this policy?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if a dog run away because of fireworks, they go into the road and they get knocked down, then definitely they would have to be covered for that. Because I mean, it's not your fault. You secure your dog in a certain way. If I would scare them to a point where they felt the need to run away, and you don't die
Yeah, and I've
because of it.
even heard stories of persons whose dogs would have suffered a heart attack or those kind of things
Oh
too.
yeah,
So as
definitely.
long as you have a vet confirm the cause of death, you can claim for that animal.
Mhm. Yep, correct,
All right.
correct. Yeah. We used to have to keep the dogs
Mm,
inside or make sure and lock them up. Well, for the bigger ones that we used to have to lock them up
yes.
pretty securely
Yeah, yeah,
to make
yeah.
sure. Yeah, because I mean, we still. We still have my mom and they still have the original kennels that we use with brick and
Yes, yes,
steel
yes.
and all kind of things. Yeah.
Hmm. And I know, let's just, as a reminder to listeners, remember that the Office of the Attorney General has issued a call to citizens to contribute to the amendment of the Summary Offences Act with, as regards fireworks. So please, make your voices heard on that, because there are a lot of animal lovers out here who are very concerned about um, the fireworks that go off every holiday, and really are harmful, not just to animals but to humans as well. They're very disturbing. um so, Keen, as we wrap up, is there anything else that you would want to share about the PetGuard policy, and maybe how you feel personally about its potential to change the landscape, as far as pet ownership is concerned?
Well, me personally, as somebody who grew up having dogs, somebody who loves. I mean, the dogs don't live with me, but
Hmm.
they're with my mom and stuff as well. I would. I mean, we already organized
Right.
for both of them to have the coverage because one of them actually had run away for like a 3 month
Hmm.
period and couldn't find her. So that was a state where every once in a while somebody would say, "Hey, I see your dog
Yeah.
here," and that kind of stuff. So that used to always play on our minds a lot in terms of if the dog is lost
Right.
or dies or something like that. So I think people who actually love their pets as much as they claim to do, they will be the ones to act. Well, they will be the first movers to get the policies in order for their pets, and that has literally been the
Yeah.
response so far.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Well, you want to
yeah,
share with our listeners before you go how they can get in contact with you to get started?
sure, sure. I mean, you could call me, you could message me at 483-4710. You can email me at kean.moses@myguardiangroup.com. You could reach me on Twitter. I am at Moses_Keen on Twitter. Um, Instagram, you can look for Insurance by Keen and you'll be able to find me there as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Keen, for chatting with us. And this episode will be out on Friday, so we look forward to that. And best of luck with the Pet Guard policy now available from Guardian General.
All right. Thank you very much.
Imagine not having to worry about finding a few hundred or few $1,000s when your beloved pooch has to visit the vet. This is indeed a progressive move by Guardian General and one that I hope other insurance providers take up. I'm sure it will encourage pet owners as well to consider veterinary care for their animals, since we know that cost is a major barrier to this kind of medical care. Our first Rescue Me of 2022 is for Rain, a 1-year-old dog currently staying at the canine cottage run by Venus Doggess of Love in Tobago. Rain is a happy, healthy, and oh so handsome pup who is in need of a forever home. But don't take my word for it. Here's Elspeth Duncan who will tell us all about him.
Reign, Reign, because of his royal stature and his royal look. Reign is an approximately 1 year old neutered male. He's a Tobago rescue. He and his mother were both rescued from the streets of Tobago. His mother, she was adopted by some people in England and she's currently living happily in London. Rain has been at the Venus Doggess of Love Canine Cottage since October last year, unadopted despite his stunningly handsome appearance. He is playful, loving, loyal. He gets along excellently with other dogs. Extremely intelligent, if I haven't said that already. A beautiful, beautiful dog that would make a wonderful family pet. We're looking for fenced yard, securely fenced yard, and a loving, safe, responsible home. If interested, if you fit the bill, please contact Venus Doggess of Love on Facebook. You can send a private message. Thank you.
And that's the end of episode 1. I hope you enjoyed it, and you'll be back in 2 weeks' time to hear another amazing person doing their part to advance the cause of animal welfare. Remember to check out the website, animaliathepod.com, for new episodes, archived episodes, and much more. Search and subscribe to Animalia the Pod on your favorite podcast platform, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or YouTube, for new episodes as well. You should also like and follow Animalia the Pod on Facebook and Instagram. And if you'd like to appear on the podcast, send an email to animaliathepod@gmail.com. I'm Natasha, and until next time, take good care and remember, love off your pets. Bye-bye.